Well, if you're glad to be in church tonight, would you say amen? Amen. Our weather can't seem to make up its mind, can it? I started to say, are you glad spring is here? And then I realized it's a tad bit chilly tonight and windy. But I'm glad to be in the Lord's house. Our dear intern and I have spent the last few hours out visiting with people, and we had a pretty good time, didn't we? And we have 13 young people tonight sitting up here to sing in kids choir. How awesome is that? Now, I have to make a confession. My eyes hadn't been checked in 5 years. That's a long time when you're getting old, right? So I have new glasses, and y'all are blurry, and I'm dizzy. And so if I'm staggering tonight, these men are not drunk, seeing it is only the 7th hour. So, but I'm just thrilled that you're here tonight, and I believe the Lord's going to help us. I want you to just stand with me, if you would, and I want you to turn to song number 116 in your Sing to the Lord songbook, and I'm going to begin with this song, but then we'll probably segue into another. I'm excited about the Easter season, and I have that on my mind quite a bit, just every day. And so I'd like for us to sing this song tonight about the name of Jesus, and then we'll probably segue into another one in the same key. You just follow me, okay? Oh, for 1,000 tongues to sing, blessed be the name of the Lord, the glories of my God and blessed be the name of the Lord. Oh, blessed be the name, blessed be the name, blessed be the name of the Lord. Oh, blessed be the name, blessed be the name, blessed be the name of the Lord. Let's sing the chorus again. Blessed be the name, blessed be the name. Oh, blessed be the name of the Lord. Yes, blessed be the name, blessed be the name. Oh, blessed be the name of the Lord. Jesus, the name that charms our fears. Blessed be the name of the Lord. sing this chorus. For He is Lord. He is Lord. He is risen from the dead, and He is Lord. Every knee shall bow, every tongue confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. Lord Jesus, tonight with all of our hearts, we crown you King of Kings and Lord of Lords. You reign supreme here at BGINC. We wouldn't want it to be any other way. You have the preeminence in every service and every part of the life of our church. It's all because of you. Oh God, we thank you for this glorious privilege we have tonight to be in your house. We thank you for this good crowd on Wednesday night. You are helping us, Lord. We beg you, continue to help us. Continue to move in our midst. Continue to touch our hearts. Continue to help us. Oh God, we believe you. We're trusting you to continue to walk among us. Have your perfect will and way tonight in this prayer meeting, I pray. In Jesus' name I pray, and all God's people said, amen. Praise God. You may be seated. Oh, that was wonderful, wonderful, wonderful singing. Well, boy, the kids' choir is just anxious to sing, aren't they? Yes, and I know she had already asked me before this. It's turned into a little contest, hasn't it? That's funny. Oh, if you're ready to hear the kids' choir sing, would you say amen? Amen. Amen. We need to pray for Kylie's parents, though, don't we, Kylie? Because you know why? Because they wanted to race. They wanted to race with Pastor Don tonight. We were at the stoplight, and this very nice vehicle pulled up beside my lowly little vehicle. You know it?
Cadillac Escalade.
Yeah, that's what it was. And they wanted to race.
Guess who won?
Yeah, okay, I'm hushing now. I'm going to go sit down now. God. That was very, very good. Thank you very much. If you enjoyed that, would you say amen? Amen. Amen. Oh, that was good. You know, don't you love their singing on tune? Most of them, you know, isn't that wonderful? And learning how to sing. Steph and Jill need a round of applause for the work they put into making that happen. I like that too. Well, let's have some testimonies tonight. John Anderson, I'll give you a break. I'll let Kyler, you take that mic right down there. Brother Hires, you'll help me out over here, and let's have some testimonies. I think Sister Russell wants to testify. Do you want to testify? You're acting like you want to. Do you want to? Okay, well go right ahead. I just got that impression.
Well, I'm proud to be here, but I want to tell you, the Sunday night service was and I know we've had some good ones, but Sunday night was so special. And I want to tell you what a wonderful message you brought.
Well, thank you.
And I tell you, from the bottom of my heart, the night that I got sanctified and I put all my bitterness on that altar up there.
Praise God. Praise
He
God.
so changed my life.
Praise God.
I haven't been the same since.
Praise God. Hallelujah.
I tell you, it's not just enough just to give him your heart. You've got to give him your life.
That's right. That's
And
right.
I am so thankful for the night that I gave him my life.
Praise God.
I've never turned back.
Praise
I love
God.
him and I'm going through.
Thank the Lord. Thank the Lord. That's a good start. Brother Gene?
Well, I do love the Lord. Last Sunday night, on Wednesday night, I didn't testify. I hate to say it, but I was really down. Like the world felt like it's caving in on me. But anyway, the Lord's helped me this week, and I came upon this scripture that helped me. It says, "Fear thou not, one Jacob, you men of Israel, I will help thee, saith the Lord, my Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel." So the Lord has helped me, and I
Praise
love him,
God.
and I want to claim his promises.
Thank the Lord. Thank the Lord. Praise God. Who's next? Brother John?
Brother Bates, you mentioned Sunday night about that 6-week revival at Southport.
Uh-huh.
And it was that spirit of revival that helped to get me in.
Yes.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
But before they had that 6-week revival, there was 4 or 5 preachers that got together and prayed every morning at 5 o'clock
Oh, wow.
prior to that 6-week revival.
Wow.
One of the preachers was being used of God and holding weekend meetings. And the other one, he had the smarts. And he was jealous of the one because he was preaching all the time. And the other one was jealous because he was so smart. He had a photographic memory and was getting his classes done. And God showed them their ill will towards each other. And they met at the altar and asked forgiveness from one another. And it wasn't long, God came at Southport Church of the Nazarene.
Yes.
Amen.
Amen.
I'm glad that God can show us things in
Praise
our
God.
heart that we may not know. But when
That's
he
right.
turns on the searchlight
Yes.
and reveals it to us, I'm glad we can walk in that light.
That's right.
Amen.
Praise
And have
God.
fellowship one with another. And that's what they got healed up and fixed up, was that fellowship. Amen. I love the fellowship with our brothers and sisters here.
Yes.
Amen.
Praise God.
And I just thank God the way that he has blessed and provided and taken care of me ever since. I thought about those young people there. And when I was their age, I was in Roman Catholicism. I was going to catechism class. But I'm glad that God had a purpose.
Yes.
And God had a plan.
Yes. Praise
And he
God.
saw what I would be by the grace of God.
Yes.
I like Coy
Hallelujah.
McGinnis's song, "I'll supply the man if you'll supply the grace."
Yes. Praise God. Thank the Lord. Brother Terry.
Amen. That song the kids sang sort of tests a stroke of something in my brain anyway. And I was thinking about that word choice. When I was growing up, I didn't have much choice. My dad said, do this, and I had to do it. I didn't have any argument in me. But when we get older, we have to make our choices.
That's
I'm
right.
glad tonight that I made the right choice to go with the Lord.
Praise God.
Amen. It's sure good to go with him because he knows the way. We never get lost if we follow him. Praise the Lord.
Yes. Praise God. Thank the Lord. Who's next? Sister Okay, Kyler, you come here to Donna, all right? Go ahead, sister.
I'd like to put a challenge out to everybody that's working. I've gone back to help at the daycare just part-time and got a new cook and it's been working with her. But when I worked at Camp Canby, we had a lady that wasn't a Christian and her brother got real sick. They didn't think he would live. And she was working. I said, well, do you need to leave? She said, no, I'll go to the hospital when we're done. And the Lord said, just gather everybody around her and pray. And the phone call came that the Lord had touched him. The lady I'm working with is going through a really bad time right now, and the Lord said, just pray with her. And she started crying. She's a Christian. She said, you don't know me, and you're praying for me. And you know, when we're in the workplace, if somebody has a need, if we just pray with them, we don't know what the Lord can do for them and
That's right.
help them.
That's right.
And I love him supremely. I'm so glad that he's faithful to show us
Praise
to do
God.
things. And I
Amen.
praise him tonight for his goodness and for his love.
Amen. Thank the Lord. Sister Bennett.
Well, I've been going over and over and over, not only your messages Sunday, but for some reason the song that Lee and Jill sang Sunday night, Day by Day, and with each passing moment,
that's
strength
right.
I find to meet life's trials here.
Yes.
Kept going over in my mind. So Monday morning, when I got up, I have a book that has the stories behind the songs. And I thought, I hope that's in there because I want to know why the person wrote the song, and it was. And this young gal was on a ship going to Sweden with her father. They were going for, I don't know if it said why they were going, but the boat hit rough waters, the ship did. And when it hit the rough waters, he went overboard, and she watched him drown. And she wrote that song, Day by Day, and with each passing moment. And I thought, I've not gone through anything like that, but I have the same God on my side.
That's right.
And that takes me through those trials in life that I don't know is going to happen. They had no idea. She had no clue. Here she was alone on the ship. And then today I read Roger a little devotional about Mother Teresa and how God led her to Calcutta. And she said, I was born in India, was raised in another country, I'm this, but I'm God's child. I'm the child of God. And she said, down on in the article, she said, I became a pencil in the hand of Jesus for him to use me and write what he seemed fit. And that's what I want to continue to be. I never thought of my life like that much, but I want to be. I want him to erase what he don't like. I want him to write what he wants, and I
That's
want
right.
to live pleasing to him.
Praise God. Praise God. Who's next? Sister Mary.
I love the Lord tonight. And when I think I was maybe 10, 11 years old, if that, my parents liked to go to this couple's house, and they didn't have any children for me to play with. So I didn't want to get out of the car. And I had never talked to my dad like this, but I told him no. N-O, I was not getting out of the car because there wasn't anybody for me to play with. Well, I hadn't even more than got that out of my mouth till my feet hit the sidewalk. His belt came off, and I wore some stripes. And I never told my dad no more, never. And I kept thinking today, I thought, you know, I told no to the Lord for years. You know, I wasn't going to turn my life around, you know, and all this stuff. And but the Lord let me do it. He didn't pull his belt out when I told him no, but I suffered for it in other ways till I did turn my life around. And I'm so happy I did.
Praise God.
I'm serving the Lord, and I'm
Thank
going
the Lord.
to make heaven my home.
Praise
and
God.
I'll never tell him no again.
Amen. Praise God. Who's next? These are good testimonies. These are such good testimonies tonight. Arisha.
Well, I have actually two parts to my testimony. The first one is partially a testimony and partially a prayer request. I've been getting to talk to my neighbor about the Lord and about coming to church, and it's not something that's ever come easy for me, but the Lord's been helping me to talk to her, and I was able to give her the information to get on YouTube if she wants to tune into the services. So if you would just pray that she would be able to tune in or maybe even come. I invited her for Easter as well. So just pray that,
good.
she will, get an opportunity. She works late nights and into the early morning. So I'm sure the devil will fight her on that, but pray that she will come. And then the second part is today on the way to work, I was praying and I was singing songs, and I started singing It's Gonna Be a Great Day, and it's a Gaither song, and I was just like, this is going to be a really good day, it's going to be a blessed day, And I got to work, and there was just little things that started annoying me, and then come to happen that I ended up going almost 2 hours over what I was supposed to take on the job, which is slightly normal for a new person, but it was still annoying to me because I've only been going about an hour over or less. And I got in the car, and I was completely tired after work, and I got in, and the devil's like, you are exhausted, and you got church tonight, and, just trying to beat me down. And I told him my theme song that I've been singing a lot lately. Well, I'm happy in the Lord anyway. And that has just been my theme song, and I've been singing it a lot lately. It doesn't matter what happens. I'm not always going to have a smile on my face.
That's right.
But I will have joy in my heart because I
Amen.
have the Lord.
Praise God. Thank the Lord. Who's next? Sister Dawn.
Well, what Cynthia was saying today or tonight about to be a blessing in your workplace, I do pray with people at my work, and I was just thinking how I'm going to start, taking sticky notes or anything and just writing encouragement to my clients and stuff as I clean and stuff. And so I just felt like when Cynthia was talking about that was the Lord saying, yes, do that, because that's what I was thinking about doing. But also with her testimony, I have prayed before. We do the same kind of work, and it's like I've prayed, Lord, don't let me break nothing today. And something breaks, and I'm like, Lord, but I prayed. Why did that happen? But I just told the client, like, hey, I'm sorry I broke this, I'll pay for it. But sometimes, when we pray and we ask God, well, it could have been worse if I didn't pray. So the devil's always there to discourage us, and so just be a light, no matter, if it's your workplace or, with your family, your friends and stuff. So encourage me with what Cynthia said. So I'm going to definitely step it up and be more, doing the sticky notes and different things like that.
Amen.
I just want to give him the praise and glory tonight.
Thank the Lord. Brother Larry.
Be in this house.
Amen.
I know I say that just about every time
It's okay.
but I love God.
Amen.
And to think about the family of God.
Yes, indeed.
I believe, honestly, there's going to be over 1 million people in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
I love these people in this church. And I've had a lot of people that's died that knew Christ.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get to see them again.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
And we live with them for eternity.
Yes.
People don't realize how long eternity is.
Mm-hmm.
I think about it, 10 zillion years from now will be like the first day.
The first day, that's right.
I
Praise
just
God.
love the family of God. I love to be around the people in this church.
Praise God. Thank the Lord. Thank the Lord. Who's next? Brother Josh.
Recently, I've been reading through the minor prophets, and this morning I read the verse in Zechariah that said, "It's not by might nor by power, but it's by my Spirit, saith the Lord
Praise
of
God.
hosts.
That's right.
I'm so thankful for that reminder that it's nothing in and of ourselves or any ability that we have, but every good and perfect gift comes from above. I just want to take whatever God deems fit to
That's
give
right.
me and give it back in service to Him, and I love Him tonight.
Praise God. Thank the Lord. Who's next, Brother Roger?
I had the thought again today. Has it ever occurred to you that nothing occurs to God?
That's right.
Nothing. His ways are higher than our ways.
That's right.
His wisdom is infinite. And just to think that he loves us. Somehow
Yes.
I don't understand it. But we were reading in devotions this week, and I just thought, you know, he says, consider these things in one of the verses. Consider the lily. They don't toil or spin, but there's not a king with more splendor than them.
That's
And
right.
he said, consider the sparrow. And you know, Donna was walking this week, and she walked across a dead raccoon. I'm glad it was dead, but she said, do you think God saw that raccoon, that nasty old raccoon, when he died? I said, yeah, he did. You know, a friend of mine, a Nazarene evangelist for years, Ray LaSalle, was at the lowest point in his life, traveling across someplace. His camper broke down, 2 tires flat on his camper, trying to make it to a revival. And he got out and he's walking up and down the street, and this is before AAA and before cell phones and everything else. He said, oh God, what am I going to do? And he began to weep, and he said, God, all I'm trying to do is do your will. He said, have you forgotten me? And he looked out in the middle of the street, this highway he was on. There was a sparrow laying in the middle of the street, dead. And God spoke to me at that time and said, I attended the funeral of that sparrow. I was there. I saw it fall, and I just thought today, if the scripture's going to say, how much more?
That's right.
That's who we are.
Yes.
He loves us so much, and I'm glad to be one of his children.
Praise God. Praise God. Thank the Lord. And Brother Tom.
We were at a concert this weekend, heard a message that really stuck with me. It was An Attitude of Faith, the title. And he was talking about Caleb and Joshua and the other 10. They had faith. They knew God would take them through. And the other 10 had doubts. We need to have the faith.
That's
But
right.
he had made another statement that stuck with me. He said, the positive person gets up of a morning and says, good morning, Lord. And a negative person gets up and says, good Lord, it's morning. An attitude of faith, and that just stuck with me. I want to have that attitude.
Yes, indeed. Anyone else? Sister Carla.
I was at a ladies' retreat, not this past weekend, but the weekend before. And while we were there 3 days, and they gave us a name of somebody to pray for this whole next year until the next ladies' retreat. And one of the young ladies that I got actually attends my church. And they were getting ready to leave. Actually, they left last Friday. They were traveling to Florida, and it was like a whole group of family going. A grandma and grandpa and a daughter, another daughter with a family, and then an aunt and an uncle. So they had this big group of people. And the lady I'm praying for, I told her, I said, I'm praying for safe traveling mercies, that you guys have a great time and everything. And they had to answer some questions. They were going to cruise, so they were flying to Florida, and then they were going to cruise. So she had some questions that they had to answer. And one of those was, did you have this symptom within the last 14 days? And so she put yes. And so they knew that. They let her fly clear to Florida with her 2 children and husband, and they would not let her get on the ship. And so here the rest of the family is leaving. This grandmother is watching her 2 grandchildren wailing because they cannot go with grandma. And when I found out about it on Sunday, another lady and I was like, we're just going to pray right now. And I prayed, and I'm so thankful that she had the integrity, to say, yes. She answered truthfully. Horrible situation. I mean, can you imagine? You've looked forward to this vacation forever and you've paid for it, and then all of a sudden, and of course, you know, the grandparents kind of wanted to take the 2 children with them, but then that would left so they were like, no, we're going to stay together as a family. And so this other lady and I prayed, and you know, I know that God didn't have to, like, you know, she was honest, and he didn't have to answer her, you know, our prayers, but he did. And and everything was booked in Florida. I mean, this is spring break. They found one room to stay at in a hotel. They could, you know, Disneyland or Disney World, whatever there in Florida, it was booked, Legoland, everything. There was nothing they could get to, and they were going to have 9 days in Florida to spend. And here they've already prayed for a trip. Now they have to pay for all this other stuff. And so we prayed, and I texted her yesterday, and she said God answered prayer, and he opened up an Airbnb. There weren't even any Airbnbs the first night they were there. He opened up an Airbnb that was kid-friendly, that has lots of things for these children to do, and said her daughter, the oldest one, is having the time of her life. I just thank God that,
Amen.
you know, he didn't have to do that. I mean, they could have, you know, we don't always get immediate answers to our prayer that you know, because we do the right thing. That doesn't mean God has to work in our behalf. But he did, and I'm so thankful that he did, and I'm so proud. I just kept telling her, I'm so proud of you, Stephanie, for having the integrity to answer your question. And I just thank the Lord that and now they get to spend this family time together as a unit. And God, I'm just praying that God will just give them a wonderful time. Sure. And Donna, I was thinking about that song. That's one of my favorite songs, Day by Day. There's a phrase in that song says, mingling toil with peace and rest. And that's what God does.
Yes.
He mingles it. You know, we don't,
Yes, he
you know,
does.
and there's rest between the trials. And I thank God for that. And one last thing is the message that you preached not this last Sunday, but the Sunday night before. Lost things can be redeemed. They can be found. I had never really looked at all those different stories as like a whole, I guess. You know what I mean? And it just encouraged my heart so much. I have so many loved ones that aren't living for the Lord. And I know that they're redeemable. They may be lost, but they can be found.
Praise
and
God,
so we are
yes.
praying that God will just, and you know, I've always just tried to tell, especially my grandchildren, just serve the Lord before you have the scars, you know, before you make bad choices. And so I just pray that God will answer prayer and speak to their hearts. And sometimes I just pray, Lord, I don't know where they are, but right now, just make them sick of their sin, Lord.
Yes,
Just make them
absolutely.
physically ill.
Yes.
And so I just pray that God will get a hold of their hearts, and I want to be faithful to keep praying.
Amen.
I love the Lord.
Amen. Praise God. Brother Adam.
One thing I really like to do is plant seeds in people's lives. And at work, there's this man who is married, and I was just talking to him about, you know, his language and all that. And this was like, I don't know, probably a year ago or something.
I remember that.
And one day he actually came to me and said, well, he's always telling me, like, excuse my French, when I see him, when I'm waiting to get loaded, sometimes I see him. And he's always, when I'm talking to him or I'm standing in a group, and he's always like, excuse my French, you know, to me. And because, like, he knows I don't like it. Anyways, well, one day he actually came to me. And he said, Adam, I'm working on my language. And I was just like, wow, okay, that's great, you know. I'm excited for him. And you know, he said that he realized that it was probably messing up his marriage. And so I think like he was realizing that, you know, the language, I mean, I believe that can really cause a problem, all that stuff. And so I think that, and I'm thankful for that. And, you know, I'm just going to have to keep on praying for him and just, you know, say, man, how's your marriage? Is it still going good? You know, just encourage him. And I'm just thankful that he actually sees that I'm different and I don't like that kind of language. And I'm thankful that he actually is one change. And so I thank the Lord for just like, answering prayer, working
Amen.
on him. And so
Amen.
I love the Lord. I'm thankful for I want to see, what he's going to do in his life.
Amen. Amen. Praise God. Who else has a testimony? These have all been so very, very good tonight. They have encouraged my heart. Anyone else have a testimony? All right. Thank you, my brothers. I appreciate your help. It lasted till the last minute, didn't it? But thank you so much. We're going to look to the Lord in prayer. Before we do, let me just remind you that tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, we're going to load the storage trailer. Doesn't the new driveway out there look nice? Have you seen it? You ought to take a look at it. It's so nice. Can we thank Roger Murdick for help making that happen and all the hard work that went into that. And so that storage trailer is going to be out there through the duration of putting in the stage. And so we need able-bodied men to meet at the church tomorrow night at 6 o'clock to load it. Charlie Murdick, I want to say hello to you. So hello to you. I wanted to get an update. He and Sandy, I'm glad you all are back. So come on up here to the front. No, I'm kidding. So you're back safe and sound, and you brought an air conditioner unit with you, right, my brother? And is it all in good shape and good to go? Okay, so you have it with you right now. You need 3 people after church to help you unload it. So I'm going to volunteer Rodney and Hunter for sure, because they're the 2 strongest guys in the church. So if you can, and Dave Shaw is the other muscle man. But if you can help him unload that, he's, I don't want to talk out of turn, but he's donating it to the school, right? And so, Lord willing, we're going to have central, not only heat, we've got central heat in one part of the school, but now we're going to have central air conditioning. Isn't that awesome? Hallelujah. Isn't that wonderful? That's so exciting. Thank the Lord. So, if you muscle men can help unload that air conditioner, and then tomorrow night, if you muscle men could come back and help us at 6 o'clock, we'll get that storage trailer. Yeah, I heard that. Indeed. We'll get that all taken care of. Listen, I'm encouraged at these, at hearing you say, I'm talking to so-and-so about coming Easter Sunday. Folks, I believe the Lord's going to really, really, really help us. I talked to some family members today that I just am hoping that their entire family will be here at church. And I think it's possible. So I just encourage you to work hard. The banners that we had last year announcing, the events of Holy Week, they're on their way. They'll be here, I think, tomorrow. So Sunday, those banners should be in place. And then we're going to be sending out a mailer the first week in April that will go to nearly 5,600 homes in Beech Grove. Would you help me pray over those, that God would bless them and will touch people's hearts? And then don't forget about the Maundy Thursday service. We need to know if you want to attend, because we're going to try to prepare a simple meal for that. It's going to start at 7 o'clock, so I won't be eating. Boy, that just stinks, doesn't it? Doesn't that stink? Kathy Strain, I'm just telling you, it stinks. It just stinks. But I am losing weight. Kind of proud of myself a little bit, just a little bit. Sister Shirley, is she here tonight? I played basketball today at noon with the kids at school. We had fun, didn't we, kids? Are there any of the kids here that we played ball with? I'm looking. I don't see any of them. I'm getting ready to walk out, and I had worked up a sweat that I wasn't intending to. And you know what Sister Shirley said? I've got a new walker. You can use mine if you need it. I asked for that after what I said, so let me publicly apologize for what I said Sunday night. Anyway, back to Monday, Thursday. We're going to have a simple meal. We're going to just, I'm going to go through the scriptures and talk about what happened that Last Supper, and then it really ended with them singing a hymn. And so we're going to do that together. I'm praying the Lord will make it a special time. I will tell you, I've never attended a Monday, Thursday service. I've never been part of one. It's totally new for me. So please have mercy on this rookie as we navigate through it. But I just felt strongly that the Lord would be pleased for us to do this. And so I hope that you will plan to join us. But we need to know so we can get a head count and think about how to plan. And then, of course, Wednesday, Gethsemane, Good Friday service, and then Easter Sunday. I just believe the Lord wants to bless us and help us, and I am trusting Him to do so. I want to tell you that the Bates family will not be here this Sunday. I used to not like to announce that because I just have felt like it's best not to, because, you know, some people don't like to attend church if there's any kind of a hiccup at all. But I also don't think it's fair not to tell you. So yes, we're going to be gone for a few days of hopefully rest and respite, and you pray that we will have a good time. And you be here and you support. Especially don't forget Sunday night is the youth will be in charge of the service, and so keep that in mind. I want to just quickly share some prayer requests with you, and then I'll take your prayer requests, and then Kyler's going to lead us as we all gather in to pray. I want you to pray for Stan. I believe Cooper is his last name. Dawn, it is Stan Cooper. I visited with Stan this evening with Kyler. Stan needs the Lord. I believe God is helping him. And I want you to pray for him and his companion, that God would help them. I invited them to church for Easter Sunday. Stan has some real physical problems, and I believe God has allowed us the opportunity to meet. He's Melissa Keith's father, has allowed us the opportunity to meet in a season of his life where who knows how much time he has left. I told Kyler when we left there, one of my greatest joys in ministry is meeting someone who was on the brink of eternity and watch God snatch that soul from the claws of the enemy. I take more joy in that than probably anything in ministry. But I want you to help me pray for Stan, that God would touch him and help him and his companion. Joyce Houck is home, and she's doing much better. She's probably tuned in tonight. She said, I never miss a service. She did not have a broken ankle, but she sprained it pretty bad, but she's doing better. Roger and Dolores came while we were there, and we had a nice visit with them. And I know Joyce would love to be here Easter Sunday morning, and that's be quite a challenge for her. Would you pray the Lord would make that possible, that she would be able to come to church? And then I'd like for you to pray for my Uncle Gary. We went out and visited with him. Uncle Gary tunes in faithfully, but his eyesight is beginning to fail. He can't drive at all at night, and he has sugar issues, and it's affected his eyesight. And I would appreciate it if you would pray for him. There are others that are fighting some serious battles. We will allow them to remain as unspoken prayer requests, but you just never know who you're sitting beside that's carrying a heavy burden. You don't know who you're sitting beside that recently has faced a financial hardship that they were not expecting. If there was ever a time when we needed to hold one another up in prayer, this is the time. And I believe that with all of my heart. Pray for Lisa. I have not heard from her as of late. I want you to also pray for a man named Chris Wilhelm. Chris is the president, CEO of Wilhelm Construction. I've known Chris since I was just a kid out of high school. And he's very good friends with Rod Vore, and they've been talking, and there's a chance that Chris and his family will be here Easter Sunday. And I want you to pray for Chris and his family. God is able to help them, and I wish you would remember them in prayer. Do you have prayer requests that you want to mention before we pray tonight? Yes, sister. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's remember this request. Yes, Adam. Yes, thank you for reminding me. Mention his name. He's your uncle, right? Uncle Donnie. And he has cancer? Right, and is it like pancreatic cancer or what? Or lung cancer? Stage 4 lung cancer. Let's pray for their Uncle Donnie that God would help him. I saw, yes, ma'am. Yes. I think you're right. Go ahead. Praise God. We sure will. We sure will. And pray for Sister Dolores. She is on an antibiotic now, but she's not been feeling well at all. And if you get a chance, give her a call and just tell her that you miss her, and it will lift her spirit. But let's pray for her tonight. Yes, Norma Jean. Let's remember her in prayer. Brother Carpenter. Oh. All right. Oh, let's remember this. Let's pray earnestly for Victoria tonight, that God would set her free. Anyone else? Yes. Uh-huh. Well, let's pray for her. Let's do Brandy, right? Let's pray for her tonight. Did I see another hand over here? Arisha? Okay. Okay. Let's pray for him. Brother Bob, did I see your hand? I thought I saw her here and then she left. Okay. Let's pray for Tiff. Brother John. Yes. Yes. And he's going to have an aorta valve replaced, but he had to have some dental work done prior to that. And so they're just not quite there yet. But let's pray for him. Pray for Steve Powell as well. Any others? Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm. Let's remember this. Sure, let's remember this request. Are there any others? Yes, ma'am. Okay. Uh-huh. All right. Oh, wow. All right. Let's remember this request. I thought I saw another hand. Brother John? Okay, let's remember these. And I have another request on a text message I got of someone that reached out to me, connected to our church, said that they needed prayer. They're having to make a difficult decision. So let's pray for them. Are there any others? Michael? All right. We will pray for you. Anyone else? I'm sure we have unspoken requests. Won't you play the chorus of Consider the Lilies? We have a Heavenly Father above with eyes full of mercy and a heart full of love. Let's gather in, those of you that want to, and let's pray. Kyler's going to come and lead us in prayer. And if you want to kneel at the altar, now we've mentioned a lot of requests tonight. God heard every one of them. But as many as you can remember, lift them to God tonight. Let's lift our voices together and pray together.
Amen. Let us pray. Dear Father God, we're so thankful for this people, dear Lord, these brothers and sisters of Christ, Lord, this family of God. We're also thankful for it, dear Lord. We're thankful for this place of worship, this place of God where we can come and meet and lift your name up on high as it so deserves to be, Lord. We're so thankful for your presence. Most of all, Lord, if it wasn't for your presence, Lord, everything we would be doing would be for naught. But Lord, we're so thankful for the Spirit of the Most High God in and amongst these people in this midst. Lord, I ask that you undertake for all of these prayer requests that were made mention, dear Heavenly Father. There's quite a bit, Lord. I ask you to remember Stan Cooper, dear God, not simply for his physical touch or for a physical healing, but Lord, more importantly, for a touching of his soul, dear God. Oh Lord, we need to get the desperation. We need to start praying the prayers, the Lord, whatever it takes, God, to get those ones to heaven, Lord, to hold them over the pits of hell, like our dear brother or sister mentioned tonight, that makes them literally sin sick, dear God. We need to pray with that earnesty, that earnest that we want souls to finally make it to heaven, dear God. Oh Lord, help his spiritual condition, Lord. Oh, Uncle Donnie. Oh, Lord, it says that they said that he has cancer, dear God. He's in the hospital, Lord. I can't imagine dealing with something along those lines. All of us have probably had cancer touch us in some way or another throughout life, dear Lord, and we know that you're the ultimate physician. You're the ultimate healer. Like the woman with the issue of blood, for 12 years was searching for a cure, went to all types of physicians, all types of doctors, but what she needed was a touch from you. Oh, she just reached out, she touched the hem of your garment, and it says instantly she was made whole. Oh, dear God, we're needing a touch today. We're needing a touch tonight, Lord. We're needing a touch this year. Oh, whatever it is, Lord, we're wanting you. We're wanting your Spirit. Oh, dear God, I ask you continue to touch Jennifer, the one who's been sober for a couple of days or weeks, dear Lord. I ask you continue to help, continue to bless, Lord. Give her the strength that she needs to go on. Help her not to turn back to the drink, Lord, but to get her eyes fixated on Christ. Oh, help her to get her eyes on the straight and narrow path, Lord. Oh, there's another one here that said that they were dealing with an alcohol problem, dear Lord. Oh God, we know that you have the strength they need to be delivered from that awful, awful curse, dear Lord. We know you're able to. We're trusting that you're going to. Lord, I ask you help Norma Jean. Bless her. Lord, touch her, whatever it takes, dear God. Oh Lord, let's remember our sister's granddaughter, Brandon, Lord, the one who's searching for salvation, searching for the Savior, dear God. I ask you make yourself known to her in such an undeniable way. Oh Lord, in such an undeniable way that she knows that it's you and she accepts you as her personal Lord and Savior of her own life, dear God. Oh Lord, all these unspoken requests that were made known, Lord, I simply can't imagine what each and every single one of them are, Lord, and maybe they're a spiritual need, maybe they're a physical need, maybe they're a mental need. Lord, I don't know, but you know who does know it, you. You know the ones that were never even thought of, dear Lord. You know the prayer requests. You know the battles that each and every single one of us are dealing and facing tonight. And you have the strength we need to go on. Your word says, a promise of your word, it says that anything we go through, any temptation, any battle that we have, we have the strength we need to overcome it. We're so thankful for the promises of your word, dear Lord. I ask that you help this one trying to make a decision with his job, Michael, dear Lord. We know that it could be a rough decision to make, but we know that you have the direct guidance. Lord, it says that you'll be a lamp unto our feet and a light unto our path. Lord, we're so thankful for your love. We're so thankful for your Son. As a songwriter wrote, so undeserving of his love, but oh, I'm so thankful for his precious blood. Though I will never understand, I will gladly receive the love that took him to the cross. Oh, amazing love, how can it be? Oh God, we're so thankful. Oh, so thankful for the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. We're so thankful, Lord. We can never thank you enough. We lift your name on high as it needs to be. Lord, I ask you continue to help, continue to touch, continue to bless this crowd, Lord. Continue to bless all the ones that are part of Beech Grove Independent Nazarene Church, from the pastors to the piano players to the choir to the people in the pews, dear Lord. We're wanting a great work, a great revival, dear God. If ever we're in need of old-fashioned Holy Ghost revival, it's in 2022. And Lord, help it to start right here at Beech Grove Independent Nazarene Church. We're trusting you, loving you, thanking you for everything you've done, everything you're doing, and everything you're going to do. In your precious and holy, holy name, amen, amen, and amen.
Praise God. Praise God. God bless you. You're dismissed. Thank you for coming tonight. It's been a good prayer meeting.